Ever feel like you can't express yourself in the way that you want to? Let's change that. We're going to dive deep into the world of vocabulary with a special focus on 30 advanced adjectives that will take your language skills to the next level. Adjectives are super important in language learning because they help us to describe things with more detail and clarity. They make our sentences more interesting and easier to understand. And they let us express our feelings and emotions with more effect. When you use the right adjectives, you can paint a clearer picture for people and avoid confusion. It's also more interesting to listen to, so it makes communication more engaging and impactful. In short, adjectives are key to making your words stand out and connect with others on a deeper level. Let's look at an example. If you say, I saw a dog, it leaves a lot to the imagination. What type of dog? How big? How small? What color? However, if you add some adjectives, you get a much clearer picture. For instance, saying, I saw a friendly, small, furry dog with brown floppy ears helps you to visualize exactly the dog that I am talking about. The added detail gives us much more of a specific and vivid image. So adjectives are super useful. Now, when learning a language, it is common to use the same words over and over. We feel comfortable with these words and we don't use new ones. If we want to expand our vocabulary, however, we need to add a few more. In this video, we're going to look at some adjectives that you might not have seen before. They will be at a C1 and C2 level. Now, if you're wondering, Claire, what is that? When you hear about levels in English, we're talking about the CEFR level, the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages. It is meant to provide a standardized system to evaluate language proficiency across different languages. So we're going to look at C1 and C2 levels, which are advanced and proficiency. They are usually adjectives that we see at this level. It doesn't mean we have to be at this level to use them, and we don't necessarily have to be at this level to have seen them for the first time. We are going to look at 5 categories. In each category, we'll be looking at 6 different adjectives. Our categories are character traits, feelings and emotions, place descriptions, intelligence and skills, and physical appearance. I'll make sure that you understand each word because we will be looking at the definition, the pronunciation, and an example. If you'd like to take notes as you follow the lesson, there is a free PDF in the description. All you have to do is click the link to download. So you can follow along with this lesson and make your own notes. So let's get started. The first category is character traits. Character traits are words that show a person's qualities, personality, or behavior. They help us better understand and describe who someone is and how they interact with others. These adjectives give us a deeper insight into a person's nature and how they deal with the world. Some simple examples are kind, funny, or friendly. Now let's look at 6 advanced adjectives to describe character traits. The first adjective we have is pragmatic. The pronunciation, pragmatic, pragmatic, pragmatic. Pragmatic is solving problems in a sensible way that suits the conditions that really exist now, and not only using ideas. Simply put, being pragmatic is about practical and efficient problem solving based on choices that are achievable and effective in the real world. She's very pragmatic when approaching a problem. Let's look at a word that describes someone with a deep desire for revenge. Vindictive. Now let's check out that pronunciation. Vindictive. 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 Now this word is a negative adjective. If you're vindictive, you intend to harm or upset someone who has harmed and upset you. Realistically, it means that you're unwilling to forgive. Her vindictive nature led her to exclude her former friend from all social gatherings. With this example, we can see that we are not including an old friend because of something that has happened in the past that we have not forgiven. On to something more positive. Innovative. This one has a few syllables. Innovative. 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 Innovative is using new methods or ideas. They were such innovative writers at the time. Can you think of an example of someone who is or was innovative? Let's discover a word that conveys intense enthusiasm and dedication to a cause. Zealous. Now let's take a closer look at that pronunciation. Zealous. 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 The word zealous can have both positive and negative connotations, depending on the context in which it's used. Zealous is extremely enthusiastic, so a zealous person is highly dedicated and shows great energy and passion in their efforts. Tony is a zealous supporter of his local football team. But it can also have a negative meaning, that you're too extreme about something and what you think, or you won't listen to others. How it's understood depends on how it's used in a sentence and who's saying it. The zealous movie fan wouldn't stop talking about the film and annoying everyone. Okay, what if you want to say that you're very careful and you pay attention to all the small things? A word that can describe this is meticulous. Let's clarify how you should say that. Meticulous. 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 If you're meticulous, you are very careful and giving great attention to detail. This is a great adjective to use in a work or academic setting. It's got a very positive connotation, so feel free to use it when you want to sound professional. Laura is such a meticulous employee. She should be promoted. On to our last character trait, adjective, perceptive. The pronunciation, perceptive. 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 Perceptive is quick to notice or understand things. In short, being perceptive means having a strong ability to notice and understand small details and subtle signs about what's happening around you or with others. My best friend is so perceptive. She knew something was upsetting me immediately. I want you to think if you would describe yourself as any of these adjectives. Are you pragmatic, vindictive, innovative, zealous, meticulous, or perceptive? These adjectives will enable you to provide a clearer and more nuanced description of people's character. Our next category is all about feelings and emotions. We'll learn some important adjectives that can help you describe your emotions. These will help you better to show how you feel in different situations using clearer and more exact words. Let's do it! Our first word to describe feelings and emotions is perfect for describing someone who shows a lack of interest or concern. Apathetic. Here's how to pronounce it. Apathetic. 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 Apathetic is someone who is not interested in anything or willing to change things. Older generations are so apathetic about new technology. Let's explore a word that beautifully captures a specific feeling that can be difficult to describe. Wistful. Let's take a closer look at how that's pronounced. Wistful. 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 Wistful describes being slightly sad because you're thinking about something you cannot have. I feel wistful when I think about the time I lived abroad. I miss it. Now let's focus on a word that is quite extreme, but in a positive way. Elated. Say it like this. Elated. 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 Elated is a sense of extreme happiness and excitement, often because something has happened or been achieved. Daniel just got accepted into university. He's elated. For our next adjective, let's go in the opposite direction. Here's a word that really captures intense anger. Livid. The pronunciation goes like this. Livid. 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 Livid is very angry. I can't believe he lied to me. I'm absolutely livid. Next up, we have a word that's great for describing caution or carefulness. Wary, pronounced ware-e, ware-e, wary. When you're wary, you're not completely trusting or certain about something or someone. I'm very wary of giving my phone number to someone I don't know. Finally, here's a word that makes me feel very calm. Serene. It's pronounced serene. 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 Serene describes a state of being peaceful and calm, worried by nothing. She's so serene when she's meditating. I would say I feel quite serene on a beach. How about you? So, take a moment and think of a time you may feel each of these. We had apathetic, wistful, elated, livid, wary, and serene. These adjectives will enhance your ability to express and describe complex emotional experiences. In this section, we'll dive into adjectives that help describe places. From cities to the countryside, we'll explore words that capture the unique characteristics of different locations. Let's enhance your ability to paint pictures of places and locations with your words. The first adjective in this category conveys a sense of peacefulness and calm. Tranquil. It's pronounced tranquil. 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 Tranquil means being free from disturbance, calm and peaceful. I can't think of a more tranquil place than the forest. Next, let's explore a word that captures the charm of something old-fashioned and picturesque. Quaint. It sounds like this. Quaint, quaint, quaint. Quaint talks about something attractive because of being unusual and especially old-fashioned. It's such a quaint little village. It feels like going back in time. Now here's a word that paints a picture of something not very nice. Bleak, pronounced as bleak, bleak, bleak. If a place is bleak, it's empty and not welcoming or attractive. The houses on this street are rather bleak. I don't want to stay for too long. Let's look at a word that describes something in a state of disrepair. Dilapidated. Say it like this. Dilapidated. 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 Dilapidated refers to something that is old and in very poor condition. Usually it's used to talk about buildings. The hotel we went to was dilapidated. We won't be going back. Next, here's a word that describes a place away from the world. Secluded. The pronunciation goes like this. Secluded. 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 Secluded means quiet, private, and not near people, roads, or buildings. She lives in a house near a secluded beach. Finally, let's discuss a word that signifies something untouched and pure, unspoilt. Pronounce it like this. Unspoilt. 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 Unspoilt describes a place or thing that is beautiful because it has not been changed or damaged by people. It's lovely to see all of this unspoilt coastline. From good to bad, these adjectives should help you paint a clearer picture of any setting or environment. Think about some places that come to mind when you hear the adjectives quaint, bleak, dilapidated, secluded, unspoilt. Our next category is intelligence and skills. We'll learn how to talk about different abilities and talents in a more detailed way. These words will help you better express your strengths and weaknesses in your skills. Let's go! Let's start with a word that describes someone who is very skilled at something. Adept. It's pronounced adept, adept, adept. Adept means having a natural ability to do something that needs skill. She's adept at fixing cars. It's amazing to watch. Here's a word that means being able to do many different things very well. Versatile. Say it like this. Versatile. 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 Versatile means being able to change easily from one activity to another or to be used in many different purposes. So you're good at many things or able to adapt to different situations. He's a very versatile dancer. He can perform ballet at the same level as hip hop. Now, let's look at a word that means without any mistakes. Faultless. Pronounced like this. Faultless. 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 Faultless means perfect without any mistakes. Honestly, I thought she gave a faultless performance at her last audition. Here's a word for someone who is clever and good at making decisions. Shrewd. It's pronounced shrewd. 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 Shrewd is having or based on clear understanding and good judgment of a situation, resulting in an advantage. Simply put, they are smart, especially in practical matters. Her shrewd observations of a small change in her friend's behavior made her realize something was wrong. Now, let's talk about a word that means just okay, not great. Mediocre. Pronounced like this. Me-di-o-cur. Me-di-o-cur. Mediocre. Mediocre means not very good. Her acting in the play was mediocre. Finally, here's a word for someone who is good at solving problems. Resourceful. It's pronounced resourceful. 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 Resourceful means being skilled at solving problems and making decisions on your own. She is a really resourceful student. She rarely asks questions. These adjectives will enhance your ability to accurately describe intellectual and practical skills. If you were to do a job interview, which of these words would you use to describe yourself? We have adept, versatile, faultless, shrewd, mediocre, or resourceful. Try to remember which ones would be impressive to call yourself and which might not. In this section, we'll be focusing on adjectives that describe physical appearance. So we'll cover a range of words to help you accurately and clearly describe appearance. Ready to enhance your descriptive skills? Let's give it a try. Let's start with a word that describes something messy or untidy. Unkempt. Pronounce it like this. Unkempt. 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 Unkempt means untidy and not cared for. The man's unkempt appearance made me think he hadn't been home. Next, here's a word that describes someone who is thin and graceful. Slender. Say it like this. Slender. 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 Slender means thin and delicate, often in a way that is attractive. She can never wear a watch because it won't stay on her slender wrists. Now let's look at a word that means weak or easily broken. Frail. It's pronounced frail. 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 Frail means being weak or unhealthy or easily damaged or broken or harmed. John looked quite frail after his illness. Next is a word that we will hopefully all use, often because of age. Wrinkled. Pronounce it like this. Wrinkled. 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 Wrinkled means having small lines because of old age. Her wrinkled face shows the passing of time. Next, let's explore a word for a look that shows curiosity or confusion. Quizzical. Say it like this. Quizzical. 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 A quizzical expression or look seems to ask a question without words. Emma gave a quizzical look when I mentioned the surprise party. Finally, here's a word that describes someone who is attractive or charming. Fetching. It's pronounced fetching. 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 A fetching person or a piece of clothing is attractive. You look very fetching in that new dress. Remember, this is an old-fashioned word, but you still might see it, so it's important to know. As we've learned about describing people, I want you to think about these words. Unkempt, slender, frail, wrinkled, or quizzical. How do these words help you picture someone? Try using one of these words to describe yourself or someone you know. Share your ideas in the comments below, and let's see how you do. Thank you so much for joining me today as we have explored our 30 advanced adjectives. I hope you found these words both enriching and inspiring for enhancing your vocabulary and communication skills. If you enjoyed this lesson, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more language tips and educational content. Don't forget to leave a comment below with your favorite adjective from this video or any questions that you might have. Keep practicing and expanding your vocabulary, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Remember, download the free PDF of today's lesson by clicking the link in the description. Also, for shorter lessons during the week, don't forget to follow me on social media. You'll be able to learn as you scroll. Thanks for watching.